Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of Sharing My Life. And today I want to share about rituals, how rituals have actually helped me cope with some very challenging times in my life. And when I talk about rituals, I don't mean rituals, religious rituals that happen in churches and temples. They certainly have a place, but the rituals that I'm talking about are everyday that I've created for myself around everyday activities, which have helped me cope, in my life. So going back to 99, 2000, 2001. Hey, Nikki, my goddess. So 99, 2000, 2001, I was going through a really challenging time in my life. There was, I remember our business was going down because the trends had changed. We were introducing a new inventory system which wasn't working. We had 12 retail outlets, by the way. We used to sell leather handbags and luggage, and the inventory system wasn't working. There was the Y2K compliance issue that was created such a big hangama over here in Australia, and it was a big nonsense thing anyway. My husband at the time, his mother had a personal crisis which was impacted our entire family. And then there was also, we lost money in the tech crash. We invested quite a bit of shares. And then we, as usual, my husband and I were always arguing with each other. And we were renovating our home at the same time and living in it. So all of that, there was just tremendous amount of stuff going on. Hello, Nikki. And so there was all this stuff going on. And I wanted to create a garden. I had this vision as part of our renovations. I wanted to create a really beautiful garden in my backyard that would be like a sanctuary almost, because we used to work 6 days, and the Sunday that we used to be so exhausted. I didn't want to go out anywhere. I just wanted to sit at home and chill. So I thought, if I create a really lovely, aspect in my backyard, like make it like a oasis almost, and that's the word people used to use on my garden when they came, then I could just chill at home. So I had this vivid vision of what I wanted to create in my garden, and almost like it used to wake me up, like really early in the morning, 3:30, I used to be wide awake dreaming of this beautiful garden that I wanted to create. And so I thought one day, instead of just sitting in bed, lying in bed awake, I'm just going to get up and go out in the garden. So I was out in the garden at like 4 in the morning. And in Brisbane, it's quite warm at 4 in the morning. I mean, it's warm in summer, so you're not out in the cold. And it's starting to get bright, so you can see. So I would go out in my garden and I would start digging. I would be planting things. I would be pruning my trees, watering. I used to even sing to my plants. I had the most beautiful, magical garden within 6 months. So that was how and by about 6 o'clock, from 4 to 6, I would be out nurturing my garden. And by 6 o'clock in the morning, like 2 hours, at 4 o'clock in the morning, first of all, it's really pin drop silence, and you can literally hear every little bird, and you can hear the rustling of the trees. And I didn't realize what was happening was that I was creating this sense of calm inside of me, so that by the time 6 o'clock came, I was kind of prepared for my day. And it had happened quite naturally. And I started to realize, maybe I should just continue this. And that became my first ritual, was being out in the garden from 4 to 6. It was me time. I was connecting with nature, and it was just beautiful. It helped me deal with stuff in my life at that time. And then by the time 2010 came, I had gotten so used to waking up at 4 in the morning. Let me say hello to you. Hey, Samir. Hello, Mrs. Pinto. I don't have to call you. She's my beautiful teacher. Hello, Deepa. And Nikki, you're still there. So by 2010, I had gotten so used to waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was facing another set of challenges. It was my divorce and my marriage breakdown, and the concern about how my kids were dealing with stuff. So I started to use that time then to do a bit of meditation and yoga and journaling and stuff to center myself, so that I could deal with other issues with divorce and stuff. And that, until today, that is central to my life, that early morning spiritual routine that I engage with. And if I don't do it on a single day, I feel something's missing in my life. It's primary for me. So anyway, that's now. And now I want to share with you some really fun rituals that I created for my kids and me after my marriage broke down, because had this concern that my kids, how are they dealing with this marriage breakdown? We didn't have the sense of family. Suddenly there was a family breakdown in our home. And so I said to them, and we did this all together. We said that we were going to have dinner together as a family every evening at the dining table, and we would share one thing that we were grateful for in our day, because we were going to focus on what we had in our life at that time rather than what we didn't have. So easy to go and, focus on what you don't have in your life. And so we used to start sharing that. And I remember one time my youngest son, Damien, he was about 8 or 9 at the time. And then whenever I had anyone over for dinner, whether they were family or friends, and we were sitting at the table, it was like our grace before meals, that we would share something we were grateful for. And there were about 8 of us at the table once, and Damien, he was the last person to share. By the time it came around to his time, he says, "Mom, I'm grateful that we finished being grateful. Can we please eat?" That was so funny. And then Daniel, one day, he was like staring outside our glass. We had these huge glass windows, and he was staring out at the sky, which was bright orange sky, flaming, and sometimes the sky is that beautiful color. And I'm saying to him, "Daniel, it's your turn to say what you're grateful for. Stop dreaming." And he says, "Mom, I'm not dreaming. I'm admiring that beautiful sky." And I thought, wow, and that's when I felt this I really felt a warmth in my heart that my son was feeling grateful for something as simple and yet so profound as this beautiful sky that he was looking at. And he was focusing on that rather than what we didn't have in our family at the time. Then straight after dinner, another ritual we created was we would sit and watch the Bill Cosby show. Now I know that Bill Cosby is not a good name in these today because of what's been uncovered about him. But at that time, it was a beautiful show for family to watch together. And my reason for us watching that together is so that the kids could get this sense of family, which we didn't have, because it was about, beautiful role models of father and mother and those kids and how it was very everyday issues that they dealt with. So my kids, and we used to watch it together and we used to laugh together. And then the next ritual straight after that, and they would diligently watch. Now they were grown up, 18, 15, and Damien was about 8, I think. And they would still come and watch it with me. And then we would all write in our journal. I had bought us all a colored journal in which we would write down whatever we were feeling, because I wanted them to, they didn't want to go to counselors at the time of my marriage breakup. So I said, okay, if you don't want to go to counselors, how about you'll just write down in books whatever you're feeling and whatever, and you keep that totally private to yourself. So we would spend 10 minutes writing in our journals. And and so I created, and then another ritual we did was, what was it? I can't remember now. But anyway, the one that's closest to my heart that I want to share with you today is the one that I created with my mom when she came here, and I looked after her for the year that after her stroke, which was a very challenging time for me and for her. She was dealing with a whole swag of illnesses. I used to cook in the kitchen for her, and then just randomly one day I started saying to her, shouting out from my bedroom. She would be in her bedroom, and her bedroom was attached to the kitchen, kind of. It was opened up from the kitchen. And I would just shout out, "Mom!" And she would say, "What?" And I would say, "I love you." And I'd hear this back from her, "Thank you." And it didn't even strike me at the time what she was saying, "Thank you." So then after a few days, I said, "Oh, she's not saying I love you back." And that's when I realized that she found it difficult. And I looked back on my life and I thought, I can't remember my mom actually saying, "I love you." I know she loves me, but I can't remember actually verbalizing it. So I went to her bedroom and I said, stuck my head into her door and I said, "Mom, I love you." And she gives me this smile and she says, "Just that." And I said, "What about I love you too, Caro?" And she says, again. And I said, "Come on." And she says, she couldn't say it. Finally, she did say it one day. And so when she went back to India, we created this ritual on the phone. And I have a recording of it on my laptop now, on my FaceTime. I recorded her FaceTime because it's beautiful that we've got this technology. And this is what we do. I talk to my mom every single day. She's now in the US with my sister. And every day at the end of our phone call, we say to each other together, "I love you very, 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 and we keep going till we got a breath. Now my mom is an opera singer, remember, so she's got about 3 times the breath as me. And so I finish halfway, like way before, but mom is continuing on for about 30 seconds after me. At the end of it, she says, I beat you. And that is so precious. I can't tell you. I laugh and I have tears in my eyes at the end of that phone call with my mom every single day. And now that I got a recording of it, I'm going to have it way past when she passes away as well. And when I die, I'm going to ask my kids to put that in front of me on my deathbed so I can remember this beautiful ritual that I had created with my mom. And I'm going to end this video shortly, but I just wanted to say that the rituals that I've created in my life, when I was just looking at them over this last week, because I wanted to share with you all, I've realized that all the rituals that I created have all got to do with connection. Either connection with nature, right in the early, when I was out in my garden, or connection with myself, with meditation and yoga and prayer and all of that, and God or source or whatever you want to call it, and the other rituals were connection with my children. So it was all about, rituals all about connecting, and it's really brought me and connected me in my life to me, to nature and my kids and the people in my life. And I will continue creating more and more rituals as I go in my life. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Hello, Jaman. Kaisa hai? Oh, I'm so thrilled to see you, Jaman. And hello, Micah. And yeah, all of you guys, thank you for being over here. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.